Best damn podcast, the best damn town. You wanna get up, get ready to get down. With its big wide sky and the wild river Thames, if you wanna go, we can take you there to Great Falls, Montana.
Welcome to the greatest damn town in Montana. I'm Rebecca Ingham.
And I'm Shannon Newth.
And
we're no damn experts.
And I am happy you're back from the... Oh, let me start with... There's going to be some spoiler alerts here. There shouldn't be.
Yeah.
There should not be, but there may be. So, and it's connected to the TV show drama Yellowstone. So if you have not watched Season 5, Episode 1 and 2, stop listening.
Yeah.
If you don't want to be spoiled. If you don't really care, keep listening.
Yeah. Because this is coming out within a week of when it premiered.
Right.
And I had to do, because we don't have cable, so I had to do the find where I could watch it still live.
Oh.
And I have to remember to cancel a free
Membership.
like the week-long membership that I got. I got to remember to do that so I don't get charged like $30 a month now.
Okay, so with those disclaimers out,
Yes.
if anybody wants to send Shannon an email and remind her to cancel her free
Yes, please
subscription
do.
so she doesn't get charged, that's fine. But Shannon, you're fresh back from the governor's inaugurational ball.
Yes. Governor Dutton. Yes.
So
I got to be at his celebratory ball. That makes it sound fancier than it was. It's a party on the ranch.
It looked really fancy
It was.
on the screen.
Yes.
So just as background, tell our listeners what that actually means.
Yes.
That you were at Governor Dutton's inaugural ball.
Yes. So right before I started in this position, I got to go be an extra on Yellowstone, which was so incredibly exciting. Since I was little, I've loved acting. I've wanted to be an actress. That's a not so secret anymore, like dream of mine that, maybe Hollywood will need by the time I get into it, older lady. Kind of miss the
By the time
young
you make
and
your
spry
break.
mark. Yeah. But the fact that Yellowstone is filmed in Montana and the casting directors want extras who are from Montana. So that gives this opportunity for people who would normally never have the chance to be in a huge production like this, an opportunity. So I saw they have like a Yellowstone Castings Facebook page, and I saw one that would apply, emailed right away. It was at the time it was like, so they called all the episodes these really random names. So I think
you have no idea what's going on.
Correct. Yeah. At least initially. Well, not at all. I mean, I still, when we filmed, I wasn't even 100% sure it was John Dutton's inauguration party. I thought it could have been something for Governor Perry because I couldn't hear dialogue from where I was, and it was just like a party. So they're really like no spoilers. So my episode that I signed up for, all the email correspondence about it, was called Purple Hippo. So that's they just have like random names and they're like, this has nothing to do with hippos or animals of any kind. This is just what we call the episodes. So then once they said you have to, send in your name.
Did you have to do like headshots and
yep.
do a video recording?
No video recording.
Screen test?
No, because you're just kind of like a background. So
nobody really cares about you.
Exactly. They're just like, are you competent enough to stand here? But I had to send in like where I was from, name, height, like physical description, headshots.
Do they do like a background check? Like you have to do social security numbers, make sure you're not some weird...
Did they do a background? I don't think so. No, they didn't do a background check.
They should add that.
I had to do, because they do pay you a little bit for the cost, a little bit for gas. We had to get tested for COVID, so they paid for a COVID testing, and then you got like I think it was like $130 for every 12 hours.
Wow, better than jury duty.
Is it right? Yeah, and arguably more fun. Well, more fun than jury duty. So they paid you a little bit, so I had to fill out like tax forms, but I don't think I had to do any background checks. So they did get my social, I guess, but not for a background check.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, that's weird. Paris Bread was an extra as well, season 4.
And my episode as well. He was Paris
there?
and I hung out on the long hours of waiting for things to happen on set.
So there's a ton of people I know in this episode.
Yes.
So, folks, I've known that Shannon's been an extra since before she started. And I'm like, oh, great. We get to talk about Yellowstone. She's like, no.
Yeah.
Like, you have put me off the entire time you've worked here.
Well, here's the thing. You sign like a non-disclosure. And I really didn't want to get myself kicked off that episode or in trouble at all and then I saw on the casting Facebook page, it's like, okay, people, remember, no spoilers, no talking about it. You can, after your episode has aired, you can post and talk about it. So I told Rebecca, I was like, I can't, I really want to take this seriously. It's probably not a big deal, but like on set. So I was there for 2 days. It was a 2-day shoot that I was there for.
It was like 20 minutes, 10 minutes of the...
Not even. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But there was a lot of we'll get into it. There was a lot of moving parts for the scene I was in. But yeah, it was a 2-day shoot that I was there for. And so I remember the second day we came back, they had everybody gathered and the, like production assistants and things were walking around and yelling a few people's names, like holding up their like form. And I happened to be by one that like, she was like, oh, that's me. And they held up this form. They're like, do you remember signing this?
Ooh.
And they're like, yeah. Okay, well, this means you said you wouldn't post about it, and you posted on Facebook about your experience. Like that night, they had posted something.
Oh,
they were real sticklers about it. Like we couldn't take pictures. I mean, some people like snuck some pictures and like a person I was with snuck a picture of Costner and like texted it to me later. So I have that from, and I have like a group photo of me that we took like on our way out on the second day. But I didn't even take any like selfies of me there because I was like, I don't know if even after the fact, like it's probably not a big deal now because now it's not a spoiler, but I didn't even, because I just was so like, I really don't want to get kicked off this set here. And they took it seriously because they'd walk around and be like, remember how you signed this non-disclosure yesterday? Stop posting or we'll kick you out. Like, so they took it seriously. So yeah, I haven't really said much.
Because folks, I also tried to get her like, just tell me, we'll record it. We don't have to release it until afterwards. And she's like, no.
I probably taking it way too seriously, but I just was like, I don't want to ruin any chances of possibly in the future being an extra again.
Yeah, folks, obviously, also if you show up at our office, she's not the one that's going to lie for you about having a party down in the basement. Like, just know I'm your girl for that.
Yeah, you're trying to get away with stuff.
I'll go a little more gray. Shannon is your black and white girl.
Well, I might be more gray on other things that I didn't sign a non-disclosure about, but I'm a trustworthy person. I will lock away your secrets. They won't get out. So, yeah.
So you spent 2 days filming what we saw as 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, if that. Yeah. Yep. So, yeah, magic of TV and the amount of... Did
you have to wear the same clothes both days?
Yes. So I will say we were there a good, like the first day was a solid 12 hours, I think. And it was in May when we filmed and it was cold.
Oh,
it was
really?
We were all, so I was actually at the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch, which was cool because there were other scenes like that we saw at the Capitol. Where Dutton, was inaugurated. That actually is the Capitol in Helena. That is the Capitol building.
It looked like Missoula Courthouse to me.
The outside shots at least were, some of it could have been a Missoula, the inside shots, but... No,
the outside shot where he took the oath of office looked like the Missoula Courthouse to me. But
I do know, and maybe these are later episodes, because I do know they filmed in Helena. Because I tried to be an extra on that one and I didn't get it. And Jason, my husband, was in Helena, happened to be in Helena that day too, and had to be like diverted around the Capitol. Oh. So something was actually filmed in the course of this season.
This is the thing. They have filmed in Helena before.
They have, yeah. They filmed a lot of Missoula though too.
It's season 5, obviously.
Right.
But I could, unless it's like the back door of the Capitol.
Yeah.
You might have to rewatch the first. You might have to rewatch the episode.
Well, they have some like establisher shots that are the Capitol, but perhaps they did stuff.
Yeah, because number one, also, let's just talk about how we don't inaugurate our governors in May, which is when this was filmed. first and
Right.
foremost.
Well, I don't know when. I mean, I imagine those scenes were filmed in May, but
well, they
could
had to have
filmed
been
later.
Well, that's true. They didn't have
They
to
filmed.
be.
No, they didn't.
But it was
they film out of
it
order
was
a lot.
beautiful and sunny and shining on the day the governor took
Yeah.
the oath of office, which usually happens in January, and it's
Yeah.
not very sunny and
or
warm
not
out.
cold. Yeah.
You're in a coat, bundled up if you're outside usually.
This is true. That's a good point. Yeah.
So that's just like the
We'll
first thing.
pretend.
Let me share that when we're talking about Yellowstone, the TV series.
They're not filming in the winter.
No,
here.
they're not
They're on a
filming
break
when
right
the
now.
storylines happen.
Right.
The storylines are actual Montana storylines.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking with Callie Jean about this.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to talk about branding. You're going to talk about calving. You're going to talk about these things because you can't have a show about a ranch in Montana that doesn't have those things.
Right.
They just don't film during that time. So when you see them during calving season and it's not
it's all
snowing
green
and, it's,
bright out.
right.
Yeah.
That's because that's when they film, not
it's real
when
cold when branding
calving
happens.
actually happens.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of snow and cold happening then. That's a good point.
Just for our listeners.
And
Because
they're on a
I
break right
assume-
now too.
I assume millions of people are going to listen to this
podcast.
episode.
Well, yeah, they should want to know our opinion about the premiere
And
above anybody else's.
Get to know one of the people who starred in it.
Starred. Yes, I was a blur in the background that I barely saw. Yes.
Did you see yourself
So
though?
yeah, I did at one point because so I'm wearing a maroon dress and have blonde hair. So I think that helped because the color stood out a little bit. I need to go back before my free trial ends and try to take screenshots, take pictures of the screen and be like, that blurs me to post or something.
To prove.
Because my mom claims that she saw me. And I was like, so while we're watching, I'm literally standing when we got to the party scene. I'm not sitting on the sofa. I'm standing up by the TV, staring at it. Jason's laughing at me because I'm like, okay, watching. But my eyes are just darting in the background, not paying attention to what's going on. Because I'm like, okay,
Where am I?
when we film this for the 10th time, who knows what take this is? Where was I? So there was one spot at the party where in the foreground are the bunkhouse crew and their nice get up or whatever. And then behind it along the fence line, behind that's where I was when I saw myself standing on the other side of the fence, on the other side of the arena towards the tent. So, yeah.
So not the chick that was watching him rope.
Lainey Wilson?
Yeah.
No, I'm not Lainey Wilson.
Well, you could have.
I didn't realize that was Lainey Wilson at the time because that was on the other side of the arena from where we were. So she had a scene with with Kelly Riley. And so we could see, we watched that happen and we were in the background kind of doing things while they were filming those takes, but I couldn't really tell. And also I didn't really know, I knew the name Lainey Wilson, but I also didn't really know. And she looks kind of like Hazy Harrison, I believe the actress's name is, who's a blonde, who's part of the external bunkhouse crew girls.
Wow.
So I thought from a distance it looked kind of like her to me, but I was like, who is that? Where did she come from?
So obviously that's got to be confusing because you're focused on the party at the tent.
Yeah, we're not supposed to be staring at the rest of them.
Right, but you're not really doing anything while they're doing that portion.
Yeah.
So you're still just pretending to be at a party.
Uh-huh. Yeah, at this point, this was earlier on in the party, so we were not sitting down in the tent yet. We were they had outside of the tent, they had the drink stand tables and bar set, so you're supposed to just kind of be mingling.
Did you get
there.
real drinks?
Oh no, they're colored water. Yeah, no real drinks. Yeah. So we had champagne glasses, wine glasses and things, and we were supposed to be pretending to drink, but I'm trying to do that without it without swelling. I don't think it would be a big deal but I didn't really want to be drinking that. Also, you weren't necessarily guaranteed if you set your glass down that was going to be the same glass you were picking up the next time. So, yeah.
Be careful.
Yeah. So on a few of those in the background, I'd just be wandering around. You'd pass and wave at people, watch and smile, sit there, get a drink, or go to one of the bars and get a drink. And so you were supposed to kind of take the same route every
All
time.
the time.
I will say also there was 300 extras on the day I was there. There was
it looked
way
like
more
a huge
people.
party.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, if the governor's going to have a little inauguration ball, you'd want more than 20 people there.
This is true. And I mean, for the governor, 300 is
pretty small.
Yeah.
Intimate group.
So clearly I'm pretty close with the Duttons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously. A big
To be
supporter.
at the party. Yes. Yeah, so we
Probably a large financial contributor.
Yeah, that's me. Shelling out a lot of money to the Dutton family. Yeah. So that part with Lainey Wilson and Beth, you could see that. Also, so I will say, so the people of the main cast who I saw when I was there, so saw Kevin Costner, saw John Dutton, saw Beth, Kelly Riley, Wes Bentley, who plays Jamie. I did not, at the time in May, so if you watched through the end of season 4.
Another spoiler alert, but we already told you that, so keep listening.
So you're like, what's going on with Jamie? So when I show up and I'm like, Jamie's here, but Casey isn't, I was like, what's happening? Yeah. So I didn't see Casey, Tate, or Monica. They were not there, but that all makes sense now that we've seen the premiere. Beth was there. Rip was there. I saw Rip, but like far away.
Well, because he's on a hill.
He's sitting up on the hill, which is
not participating in these festivities.
No.
It's not a scene.
No. But Rip's part of the bunkhouse. Why isn't he out
really?
there? No, I know. He's kind of on his own. He's family now.
Yeah, he's in the middle. He's in a weird situation.
He's just his own category.
And he doesn't like that crap.
Yeah, no. That would be really surprising if he was out there. So I saw Rip, but he was far away, like leaning on the hill the whole time.
Yeah.
He had a pretty easy day, if I do say so myself.
I don't know. It looked hot, so he's in that coat and his hat.
It was cold. Like I was freezing. Like we would when we weren't filming, I'd be sitting there like with a coat on over me, and then they'd be like, "Okay, it's go time," so you'd have to like get ready. Like it was cold the majority of that first day.
Well, they can't put heaters out. Well, they could have, because
no, not there.
If you're a realist,
yeah.
And the inauguration's in January, and then you have your ball.
Yeah.
But you're also not going to have your inauguration in Helena and then drive all the way to
let's address that. Bozeman. Let's address just that. The distance thing. That, especially now as governor, like, let's hop over to Helena, then to Bozeman. We got to go to Billings now and we'll be there right away. Like, that doesn't happen.
So if anybody from the Yellowstone TV series wants to give me a map of what
the Yellowstone world,
what Montana looks like according to them,
yeah,
that'd be helpful.
I mean, the helicopter you can get around, but
quickly,
still,
but they were
that's
in
not what
the
it is.
Secret Service van things.
Yeah, that's not a quick trip.
No, it's not in Montana. I mean, we'll do it. It's not a big deal. But
right. The fact that they're driving everywhere isn't the weird thing. It's the fact that they're doing all of that in one day or pretending like it doesn't take long. Like, let's just hop over there. Like, yeah.
Yeah. So, in your mind, for this movie, TV series, you're in the Missoula area.
Yeah.
On the ranch.
Yes.
But it's supposed to be south of Bozeman or between Livingston and Bozeman.
Yeah.
Connected to Yellowstone, because we all know where Yellowstone National Park is.
This is also in this premiere established that apparently they're like right on the line with
border.
The park, and I was like, I don't think I realized before that they were like literally like right.
So that's not even Bozeman, that's Gardner. Valley.
Yeah. Well, or West Yellowstone, past Big Sky.
That's true.
Anywhere in there,
but their spread is so huge. I mean, it probably covers the whole thing.
Yeah.
But then I think they're also up against a reservation. So
yeah, which isn't.
You'd have to either head probably east or west from there, maybe north.
Yeah.
Yeah. Please give me a map.
And then I think the little town that they shot like young Beth and Rip at the bar was in Livingston.
Well,
it looked like there was a sign that said Livingston. I mean, that's at least more reasonably close to where this supposedly is.
So when you know the geography of Montana, I think that's the problem I think Montanans have with the series is you have to separate the fact that they're talking about real cities, but in a fictitious way.
Yeah. I mean, in a fictitious way in the sense of like distance.
Well, that and reality. Like there's no reservation connected to anywhere in that area.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that we don't have reservations or that we have amazing Indian lands, but they're not next to each other.
The reservation land.
There's no way that they're next to each other in the setting that they're being portrayed.
Right. Yeah.
Or that you're driving from Bozeman to Billings to Whitefish in a day.
Right.
It's not going to happen.
It's a real long day. Yeah.
It's not happening.
And where the show actually is filmed, it's called the Chief Joseph Ranch, which is a real
Actual
ranch. And during the off season, like right now, you can go stay there. You can go stay in Rip's cabin at the Chief Joseph Ranch for a very pretty penny, obviously. But you can go when they're not filming and stay in the cabins.
Do you know?
Thousands.
Well,
it's been a while since I've looked.
I wonder if there's a person limit on that. Because if you get enough people,
if you can get like 20 people, yeah. I mean, it would be a fun experience. I mean, the ranch itself is stunning. It is gorgeous.
Well, okay. Film locators. Why am I saying this wrong? People.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
Location scouts.
Yeah. Okay.
So when location scouts are looking for the premium stuff, I mean, they're going to find the best setting. It's not like they're just like, oh, I guess this will do. There's plenty of options in Montana to really determine.
And there's plenty of options even in our neck of the woods that would be beautiful as well and very representative of a lot of Montana.
So I think the tough part is really trying to find the place and then all the different settings, which it's 100% filmed in Montana now. And that wasn't the case the first 3 seasons.
Yeah, they did some in Utah.
Yeah, a lot of it in Utah in the beginning, but now it's all here.
Yeah.
And if you ever get to see interviews with Casey Dutton, which is not his real name,
Luke
I know
Grimes.
that. He now lives in Montana.
Yeah, he has a home here now.
With his wife and kid and hangs out like a local. And he's very careful to not say where he lives because the locals have told him probably, we'll shank you in the back of the bar if you if you open your mouth.
Yeah.
Because some of that is just really protected from a residential standpoint of, we just want to keep this our little secret.
Yeah. So the Chief Joseph Ranch itself is in the Bitterroot Valley, just outside, like 2 miles outside of the little town of Darby, which is just west of Hamilton, which is south of Missoula. Yeah.
And Missoula is 3 hours from Great Falls.
Yeah. So it took me, it was 4.5 hour drive.
Where did you stay? In Missoula?
I stayed in Hamilton.
Okay.
The Bitterroot Inn. It was a beautiful, beautiful place there in Hamilton to stay. It was gorgeous. Apparently, though, so where I stayed in Hamilton, which is also Paris, stayed there as well as many of the other, because there's, not a ton of
options,
and I didn't really want to be driving.
You didn't want to stay at Rip's
late
cabin?
Well, I would have, but I think it was a little occupied with filming type things then. And they told us, on that first day, we might not get done till really late. So I was like, I don't want to be driving all the way back to Missoula then. Anyway, so I stayed at the Bitterroot Inn, and just across the parking lot is, I'm going to forget the name, but it's like a sports bar. Apparently that night, Kevin Costner was over there having dinner.
Well, of course.
Why not? Yeah. He's apparently, so I had heard that hangs out in Darby and Hamilton quite a bit. There's a coffee shop or place he goes in there while he's there. Like, I think all of them, my impression was all of them really enjoy just hanging out, being there. Yeah.
Well, and this is not our first celebrity thing.
No, this is just a very, the big show.
The big thing now. Yeah. And probably arguably the biggest show
at least
that's ever happened.
For television show for sure.
Right. Yeah. And 1923 is now filming in Butte, and then we've got the 1887
1883.
Yeah. I can't think they'd both be threes.
No.
Is my 1920 something wrong?
Is it 1932 instead of 23? Because it's 1883. And I thought it was 1923, but I think maybe it's 32.
1932?
Yeah.
Just a couple of years before the city bar was created.
Oh, yeah. Hey. Legendary.
We weave that all together, every one of our episodes.
But 1883, except for the ending, was not in Montana.
Correct.
Yeah. They end up in Montana, obviously. But, yeah. Anyway, but, what was it? Yellowstone's like the #1 cable drama or something. There was like 12 million views for the season 5 premiere.
Do you think it would have been easier to act if it was actually a 2-day party where you could just naturally go get food, naturally go get a drink, follow your route?
Like actually be able to eat and drink things?
Yeah. Instead of having to fake eat and drink.
It's you get used to the drinking thing, like holding it up, but then I was like way overthinking, like, how do I hold a cup and drink? Because I'm not just like doing it, So I was overthinking it, but you kind of get used to it because you do it so many times.
Did they allow you to actually talk and socialize?
No. So, well, not when the cameras were rolling.
Oh.
So I'll jump ahead. So the part when we're actually in the tent, which was the day 2 shoot. So you see, there was way less of that than I thought there would be. I'll continue on that in a moment. But the point is that when we were all sitting at the tables in the tent, you had to fake talk to each other. So
Those are the worst.
I'd be looking at you, but I'd just be mouthing like,
yeah.
And you're reacting and you're responding and you're supposed to be like, yeah, having
Without
a party,
the voice.
smiling, chatting. Right. And like, if there was food around you, you could like fake eat the food, but like you weren't even supposed to like clink the like silverware, anything like that. So because, it's just supposed to be quiet with the fake, like the acting of talking to each other.
Because they fill all that in the background.
Right. And especially so when they were like walking through the tables, but when they got to the front, they had dialogue. So they, you had to be really quiet during that part. Yeah. But that's interesting though. And some people at our table were better than others about
not talking,
faking talking and not just sitting there.
Oh, like you had some dolts that just sat there and stared at each other.
Correct.
Oh, that's not.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I will tell you.
And they got to be closer to Costner.
Oh, and they looked like dolts.
So when we did that scene,
you're only doing yourself a damage there.
I know, you're ruining it for the whole table. Come on. No. So when we first did I'm going to go on a tangent of the story of Inside the Tent here for a minute. So on the second day, we came up. We're in a staging area, which is a big field and tents in Darby. And then when they're ready for you on set, they bus you over the 2 miles over to the ranch. Because they don't want, hundreds of extras just like milling about the set. So they keep you contained in another section. So while we were sitting there literally for 4 hours on the second day before we actually got to go up to the ranch, there was some PAs and things like that wandering around. They'd be like, I like your outfit. What's your name? Blah, blah, blah. And they put you on a list. And so somebody liked they liked the color of my dress. And I was like, yes. And they're like, okay, remember zebra. You're in the zebra group. And I was like, okay, zebra group. Yes. So I was all excited.
Did you have any idea what that meant?
No, but it meant something like I would maybe get to be closer to something, right?
Well,
they're
and
like,
this
we
is
like
the
your
Purple
outfit.
Hippo episode.
Purple Hippo episode, and
Zebra.
now I'm in the zebra group.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
I think you're getting closer to Costner.
I know. Yes. And I was until the last minute and they changed it. So, okay. So I was in the zebra group. I got to go after the 4 hours of waiting. I was one of the first groups to go up to the ranch. And then they split us up into groups of 8 once we were there because we were going to be sitting at the zebra group. And then they brought everybody else up and split you into 8. So zebra was up first and they split us into tables of 8 and they had us wait. And then everybody else came up and they split us into 8. And then they took groups of 8 from the zebra group into the tent to seat them first. And I was like, oh, we were like the first group to be taken to the tent. And I was like, yes, okay, we're gonna get a good spot. This is gonna have a good chance to see my face for a second on TV and see Costner. And then they took us to the very back of so they had the head table set up. They had all of the like groups of 8, and then so we were in the back, very back and side. So we were on the edge of the tent on the arena side in the very back. I was like, okay, well, we're in a special, like they put us here for a reason. Like it's like not up near the front. And then when they brought them out, they started bringing the prop team brought a bunch of fake food to our table, and not every table got fake food. So we got fake food. We were set up at the table. It's like, okay, yes. And they're like, and a couple of them came around and they're like, you're in a good spot. God, they're going to walk right by you right here. I was like, yay, so exciting. Like, we're going to be the table you can see when they like enter into the party. And then we're like, okay, great. They brought them in. And then all of a sudden they started taking food away from our table.
Oh no, you got demoted.
No. And then they moved it over, and not saying that this is just how they did it, but to the table where they didn't like their clothes as much. And in the next to us, they had brought like were some of the last tables to be filled. And I took that to mean like we were like they put the first few the zebra group like along their walking route.
Right.
The cast walking route from the back to the front table. Because the scene was they were entering the back of the party, walking up to the front table. So they had put all the zebra people there. Then our food disappeared and they scooted them over a table. And so we were no longer immediately on the route. Because they were like, yeah, they're going to walk.
Table ruined it.
I don't know what happened. I don't think it was anybody. I think they just decided like lighting or shot or whatever was going to look better somewhere else. But they were like, yeah, he's probably going to walk right by and he might like shake your hand as he walks by and stuff. I was like, oh,
perfect.
Yeah. But then they moved over and that was disappointing. But they did different angles of like.
So you had all these hopes and dreams.
Yes, I was so because it's such a yes, it was such a game of luck.
I
know, but it was just like, oh yes, day 2. This is gonna be it. This is my day. I'm gonna because there's so many people. It's you do so many takes.
Yeah,
it's really luck of like who they might see at a moment to like grab or be like, you two go dance over there or whatever.
Right.
So I was like, yes, okay, I made myself available to like, and I was there when the casting person came by and she liked my outfit and I was here and I was ready and I tried to be, and then
nothing.
Yeah.
And I didn't even post on Facebook.
I know. I was so good.
I was even scared to tell my boss what was going to happen to me.
But we did. So we were at the back. So that did mean though that in between takes, the cast, Wendy Moritz, I think is her name, who plays Linnell Perry, Kevin Costner, Kelly Riley, and Wes Bentley were all like waiting right by us. So they like chatted with the tables in the back in between takes. So like Costner was like joking around and stuff. And Wes Bentley was, maybe this is why I like kind of like Jamie.
You were saying that earlier this week.
And I think it's because in person, Wes Bentley is like such a like kind, like relatable, just like he has just like a presence about him. So I think maybe that's why I I'm like, stop giving Jamie such a hard time.
Wes is nice.
I know, because I like Wes Bentley. But also, again, still trying to wrap my head around that Jamie was there.
And not knowing what the storyline is.
Right. Or for sure, I didn't know until the trailer started coming out if the episode I was in was going to be in the premiere or not. I figured it was early on in the season, but I didn't know until the trailers, like, okay, this is going to be.
And you didn't know it was Governor Dutton.
No, so
you don't know anything.
When I was, quote, cast, I was cast as a party guest because there was party guests, there were sheriff's deputies that were cast, there were staffers. I think Paris was a staffer. So there was different groups of extras.
Well, because he's a repeat extra.
He's a repeat extra, yeah. He's also worked behind the He's also works behind the scenes, like doing some camera stuff with them too.
Yeah.
But
he's gonna star in it one day.
Well, yeah, and me. I'm trying.
You're gonna have to be a back a second time.
Yeah, I'm trying. I tried. They rejected me once, but we're gonna try again. Anyway, I'm trying for 1920, 32, whatever. Also. Anyway,
it's 1923.
I think it is too, but I think how I was telling
1883.
Jimmy has Jefferson White, who plays Jimmy, hosts the official Yellowstone podcast. I swear he said 1932 because it caught me off guard because I thought it was 1923.
Well, you'd think he'd know.
Right. So that's why I'm confused now.
Okay. So back to your story.
Anyway, so when we were in the back, they would chat with us and it was really nice. And Costner would like joke around with people in the back there. He was really nice. And then Kelly Riley, who plays Beth Dutton, if you haven't heard or seen, she is English.
Yes.
She has a British accent. as her real person, like her Beth Dutton, which Beth has her own like distinct voice anyway, but it's such a different voice when Kelly Riley talks versus when Beth Dutton talks.
Right.
And so you can hear that if you watch her in interviews or podcasts or anything, but I got to hear a little bit of that on set, like in between takes. So that was fun.
That's got to be weird to switch back and forth with ease like that.
Oh
And
my gosh. Yeah.
there's a few times you can hear her English accent,
Like-
Kelly's English accent
Yeah.
seep into Beth's.
like a pronunciation.
Yeah, when she gets really angry and
Yeah.
violent. Then
Which
I'm
is
like,
often.
ooh,
Yeah.
when that tips to that English accent, you know
You
things
know,
are going to
yeah.
get bad.
It's getting real Beth Dutton in here. Yeah. So that was kind of fun. And so in the in that scene at the head table, also that was Max Baucus and his wife. Did you see that? Max Baucus was in the episode.
Oh, I did
Yeah.
not. Well,
So-
I saw the old people, and I'm like,
That
but
was-
it goes so quick.
It
you
was
know?
quick. So Max Baucus, former ambassador to China, former senator,
yeah.
Montana senator. So he was, I remember, again, he was at a distance, but I was like, is that Max Baucus? And I was like,
I don't want
he
to brag,
gets to be at the head table.
but I was on his Christmas card list for a while. Not like Senator Baucus, but like Max and family. Wow. Christmas card list.
How'd you do that?
Well, I was at a press conference with him.
I've also been at press conferences.
Yeah, I
Not
was
like
one
that.
of the stars of the press conference with him.
Wow.
I wasn't media.
Is that a good, was it for a good thing?
Yeah, yeah. It was
Nice.
a Asia Pacific
Yeah.
business summit. And,
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
congratulations.
and I had it on the fridge.
Did you frame it?
No.
Okay.
I had it on the fridge for a long time.
As
and
you
people would
should.
come by.
You're like, who's
Because
Max?
it's like, because it is. It's like a family picture.
Yeah.
And it just says Max and family.
Oh.
And like the cards you get from the senator's office are completely
Yeah.
different than the ones
Then
I'm
they're
sure.
personal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was getting Max's personal, like,
Wow.
Becca, you're awesome. Can't wait to see you again. Come down to the ranch anytime.
Oh my
Max.
gosh.
And most of that
No
was a lie,
big
but
deal.
the card and his
Did
signature.
he call you Becca?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, Beck. You know.
Okay.
We're that tight.
Yeah,
BC.
apparently.
Yeah, Beck.
Wow. That's pretty cool. Okay, we'll go back and watch because that's your buddy Max up at the front table with
I've
his
got
wife.
eliminated
Yeah.
from the Christmas card list. Like it was only like a 3-year stint.
Well,
so-
apparently, since you didn't even recognize him, you weren't that close.
which is why I got kicked off the list.
So yeah, that was Max Baucus up at the head table, who John
So do
Dutton's
you
like
think-
greeting.
Do you think he had to go through the extra Facebook page as well?
No, he just happened. He showed up.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a second, where'd you come from?
Yeah, they're
No,
just
he
like,
got
hey, do you want to show up? And he's like, oh, I'll see if I can make an
guess.
appearance.
Yeah, he got
He's not
different
the real
treatment.
governor.
Yeah. But I guess I'm retired now, so I'll show up.
Got nothing else
Yeah.
to do.
So that was Max Baucus at the head
Huh.
table. But do you remember Beth had on, it was
The
a pretty
dress?
not a ton of material on the top of the
I
dress.
didn't like it.
So when when the actors were standing in the back waiting to walk through the crowd to the front table, Kevin Costner made a joke. And I'm going to forget exactly, but he made a joke about like his daughter not having his quote daughter not having much clothes on at the moment. So he was like joking around, and I forget. I wish I remembered the exact term. It was quite a clever joke, but yeah, he made a joke about Beth's outfit.
Up until that dress, most of Beth's, I would say all of the outfits Beth
You
wears,
really like him?
I think she dresses well. And then
Yeah.
that dress showed up, and I'm like,
Yeah,
why are you wearing that?
to the inaugural
Right.
ball. Yeah,
It just didn't seem Beth-like.
no,
So on the issue of clothing, did you bring your own clothes, or did you?
Yeah. So they were ours. So during the quote casting process, so after we were told like, yes, you're part of this event, you are going to be a party guest. Then they sent out another email from the costume department that was saying, okay, women, this is kind of what we're looking for. Men, this is what we're looking for. They sent like a color palette of like, pick something within this
Oh.
color palette, and then you're supposed to take a picture of yourself in something that fits the color palette and description. So it was like cocktail dress, like fancy business attire, cocktail dress, party dress, in this color palette. So I sent a picture of myself in 2 different options, and they wrote back and were like, go with that one, bring the other one as a backup. So that's what I did. Oh, speaking of my own costume, I got to go in the barn because I had a rip in an unfortunate spot on my dress.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. So most of the morning, you know how I mentioned it was cold. So most of the
Right.
morning when we were doing things, I had like my coat on. By the afternoon, they had bussed us back from a lunch break. And I got this like tap on my shoulder as we were walking back to the ranch. And another extra is like, you have a rip like right over your butt. And I was like, oh my gosh, thank you. So I went and found one of the costume team members and was like, hey, is there anything we can do about this? So she's like, yeah. So we walked and it was kind of cool. And I think some of the other extras were like, where does she get to go? I'm like, it's not exciting. I'm just getting sewn up. So we went back in the back of this barn, which was kind of a staging area at the time. You know, they were keeping stuff in there, but went back like behind some stuff in the back of the barn and like flipped up the back of my dress, and the lady's back there like sewing up, and I'm just standing there like, hey. It was like crew and cast walk by like, hi, like she's back there, dress flipped up, like sewing away. Like, well, this is kind of cool. I got to go in the barn, and then came back and was like, it's nothing exciting, just sewed up the dress. So, but that was kind of cool because I got to see inside that barn for a moment. Yeah.
So there's obviously a lot of areas that are off limits, though, that you wouldn't be able to get to see. Like you didn't just get to wander into the house, or
no, I didn't even see the house because it's up. Like when you see that shot of Rip up on the hill above the arena, the house is like up over beyond that. So I saw like the top of the roof, but. No.
I would think it would be nice. They could just give a tour of for the extras of like this, go through the house.
They're real busy. They're real busy doing things when
they can contract someone to do that.
Yeah, but it's kind of like herding cats when you have 300 extras of people none of whom are professional actors. Like, yeah.
Well, you know,
they're just trying to get them not to spoil or to take pictures.
I starred in a meeting planner.
Movie
that was done, and we were directed by the Paris Bred.
Yes,
and was told many times not to actually say anything, and tried to have a conversation. And there were some clips in that movie that were very difficult because some people were not talking and they were just staring.
Yeah,
and I'm like, it looks weird. And the thing is, it does go by quickly, and unless you know what you're looking at, you won't notice it.
Yeah,
but
it's so hard when you're trying to act, and other people are just like sitting there. You're like, hello, like.
Why did you sign? And that's the other thing.
Yeah.
It's not like I signed up for the movie part that I was in. Like I was like, oh, we need people. Go sit over there. I'm like, okay, just make sure it's the back of my head. Like, because that's the problem, I think, when just same with videos that we do for paid media.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to see us and everything.
Right.
So I'm like, just try to get the back of my head, because then it looks like I'm just some weird glory hound.
You need a body. Yeah.
I just need to fill a spot.
Yeah.
I don't need my face. And so, but there were some moments where I was like talking, and then like you'd laugh, and then the other person's like crying, and I'm like, oh, I guess maybe
you're like,
I
should
hit
be
the
on
wrong
the same emotional level.
I guess
right
I didn't
now.
realize what you were lips were saying. Like, her dog died, and I'm like, oh. And she starts crying, and I'm like, oh, I didn't read your lips very good.
Yeah.
So.
Was there a lot of crying in your meeting planner video?
Yes. Not on camera, though.
Okay, good. I was like, I think
that
was maybe the wrong tone we were going for. We want people to come here.
Yeah, there. Insider secret on that one.
Okay.
We had drinks. I mean, we were at N Bar Craft Cocktail Lounge.
Yeah.
And so there were drinks everywhere. There was one real drink. And we were all trying to figure out who got it. Like sitting around like, because everybody else had like
some fake
random stuff.
Yeah.
So it was always like, I wonder who has it. And like, then you knew who the real actors were, because they weren't letting on that they got the real drink.
But that gives you something more intriguing to pretend you're doing.
And that's, at least something to pass the time with.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So obviously you'd do it again.
Oh, yeah.
What were the strangest things you saw?
Oh, well, when we were, so the actual entrance to Chief Joseph Ranch, Yellowstone Dutton Ranch, is not far off the road. Now they have, at least when filming's happening, law enforcement and stuff set up at the entrance, so you can't just like drive onto the set or even pull off on the side of the road right there, because it's just, a small 2-lane highway driving by it. But the actual entrance is not very far off the road. Like, you can see the barn off the road driving by, so that was, I was surprised that it was that kind of close to the road. But when we drove on, they let us off, and then we kind of walked from back behind like the bunkhouse around. But on the road we were on, they had, a bunch of like outhouses set up, which one of the points, I'm not going to say his name right, but the actor and real life cowboy who plays Lloyd was like walking over to like
Forey Smith.
Forey, thank you. I was like, was it Fuji or Forey? Yeah. Who he like came over and was like going to the outhouse and was chatting with people once when we were like walking in there. I mean, I'm sure he has his own trailer, but anyway, but he was super nice. Came and was like interacting with the extras and things. But anyway, when we were walking up that road, you kind of look down and there's some of their like fancy trailers and stuff for the actors, but then there's like a big lineup of all of these like Yellowstone Dutton Ranch pickups, like all the different vehicles, prop vehicles down there. And then you look down and there's like a dead prop cow just like laying down there.
Oh no.
So you're just walking by and you like do this like double take because there's a prop dead cow, but it's like full on just like laying down on the back bed of one of these like Dutton Ranch pickups, and you're like, oh. So I remember that kind of like caught me off guard. I was like, what? Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. I remember when you arrived, like we arrived, you're taking it all in, that this is it's kind of surreal because you're standing on the actual set, looking around, seeing all the Dutton Ranch vehicles, dead cows. And then there's a bunch of people warming up horses, running around, setting up stages, like snack tables and all the behind the scenes stuff. I think the like dead cow prop was slightly surprising at first.
Did they have catering for you? Like,
yeah. So they had like a snack table with chips and things like that. But then they took us back to the like staging area for the extras for lunch on the first day. And it was really good food. Yeah, they had it catered for you.
Nice.
So, yeah, that was nice.
And you didn't have to pay for the food?
No.
No. Wasn't deducted from your pay?
No. Not that I'm aware of.
Your big, huge paycheck?
My humongo paycheck, yeah. Yeah, I was a little, so when we first got there on the first day, you wait in a really long line, then you have to get rapid COVID tested again. I had to do that the day before in Missoula.
Day one,
but then I had to get rapid tested when I first got there. So you stand in line for that, and then you go stand in line to fill out forms, then you stand in line for them to check your costume, and then you go get a little breakfast, and then you sit and wait for the bus. So it's quite a process on the first day. But They do have catering. They had breakfast there, and then they had lunch catering. Yeah.
And then dinner, you were on your own?
Yes. Did they just feed us one meal? Well, breakfast and then lunch. Yeah. Yeah. Mm. I was real hungry when we got done. Yeah. But they had good food though. Yeah.
They're
and
big
snacks.
Days.
They aren't like making you starve. But it is, I mean, even though you didn't do much, like it's a lot of waiting, a lot of just waiting around.
Well, and you still have to be alert. Because
you got to pay attention. Yeah, you have to be ready to go. They're not going to sit there and wait for me. Right.
No.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, you have to be ready to go. And like I said, like it's kind of luck of the draw on where you are when. So you got to be paying attention if you want to do something. I think a lot of people got real tired of the waiting around. So like, I'm never doing this again. It's like, good.
More opportunities for me.
Right.
Now, when you came back and you told me you were a party guest, I thought for sure it was for Beth and Rip's wedding reception.
When I first saw that I was a party guest too, I was like, oh, maybe that's what this is. I also thought that.
And they may not even have a wedding reception ever.
Well, this wasn't it.
No, because I was still waiting for that to happen.
Yeah.
Season 1 or episode 1 or 2.
I thought, well, like I said, when I first got that email and stuff, I thought that's what it was going to be too, but no.
Yeah, it was a quick election. Any big surprises in watching the first 2 episodes of season 5 where you're like, huh?
Well,
have you been following the whole series?
Yeah, I think I've missed a few episodes, 3 and 4, but like I was caught up. I mean, I know how season 4 ended. The whole thing with Monica. I'm surprised, but not surprised because that character seems to have lots of
drama
things where you're just like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And we were back to that again in this episode. So that was, I mean, not surprising that happens, but what actually happens is kind of surprising.
You would have to think, spoiler alert, that the bison has some significance, that she hits a bison.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Also, they're usually not just wandering around.
100%.
Yeah. If you're in Yellowstone,
it makes more sense that it would be a cow.
Yeah,
or a deer.
I thought
or
it was
an elk.
a horse at first.
Well, because they do kill a lot of horses.
Stop killing the horses. That was in the. Yeah, that's the part that bothers me. I'm like, can we please just stop killing the horses?
Well, it happens.
I mean, I know it's real ranch life, but yeah, we didn't get to cut. We have all kinds of thoughts about Yellowstone, but that is most of my. Also, just real quick props to Kelly Riley again. After that scene with Lainey Wilson, she walks from there, the arena, up the hill to see Rip. She was in heels and legit like climbing over a fence and walking up a hill in heels and did like 7 takes of it. So props to her,
man.
climbing through, like walking through arena dirt and climbing over a fence and up a hill. She was a pro.
Well done, Kelly.
Yeah.
I know you're listening.
Yeah, obviously.
I mean, why wouldn't you be?
Why wouldn't you be? Don't have anything else going on.
#1 podcast. You're done filming for the year.
Yeah, nothing else going on.
Well, thanks for sharing your story with our listeners.
Yeah.
It wasn't really about Great Falls, but one thing you need to know is that Great Falls is real Montana, and so we'll give it to you straight when you stop in here.
Absolutely. And we're 5 hours away from where Yellowstone is filmed.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a lot calmer here, and we got some great ranches you can visit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You still get that Montana experience.
So, hope you enjoyed this episode. I don't think I've ever said that before in closing, but we've had so many
I hope
guests.
You've enjoyed all of them. Yeah.
We've had so many guests, I've forgotten how to close with just us.
Oh, yeah. It's been a while.
So here we go. Till we see your bright, smiling, happy, healthy, wonderful, beautiful space. Yeah, folks, it's going to be one of those. We can't wait to see your happy, healthy, beautiful face here in Great Falls. And until we do, we hope you're creating amazing memories with your friends and family wherever you are. See you soon.
We Are No Dam Experts is the recorded claims from Great Falls, Montana, covering what you need to know about this amazing damn town.